Chapter 12, Midnight Train to Memphis. Later, as the tour bus cuts through the darkness of the interstate, you slip into the kitchen and corner Jack against the sink. So are we going to talk about tonight or keep pretending like it never happened? You're the only one pretending. I've been thinking about it nonstop. He reaches for your waist with a grin, but you plant your hands firmly on his hips and keep your distance. As fun as that was, I'm talking about you winning a Jammy Award. His smile fades, and he maneuvers around you to open the refrigerator, ducking your gaze. I didn't win a Jammy, Estrella. Ver won a Jammy. By proxy, because you were kind enough to write on her album. Come on, this could be our saving grace. Now's the perfect time to change the narrative. We'll give people something else salacious to gab over, and all of this will go away. Eyes trained on something in the refrigerator. He doesn't look up, but you push forward anyway, your excitement building. Your meltdown is all anyone can talk about. But if we tell the world you won America's Sweetheart, 3 of the most coveted awards, it's not the world's business, Estrella. The fridge door closes with a bit of extra force, and as Jack turns to face you, you notice the hard set of his brows, the clenched jaw. Wait, you're mad at me? I'm not mad, I just didn't think I was talking to my manager when I told you that. I mean, we're in bed, for God's sake. I thought it was personal, and you're just making it business. Jack, it doesn't get more personal than this. I'm only suggesting we go public with Ver's BS because I know how much of yourself you put into your music, your true self. Ver's album showed all the sides of you no one else ever gets to see. Your audience loved it, and you deserve the credit for that. I didn't tell you so you could make it a thing. Then why did you tell me, Jack? You had to know I would try to fix this. If you didn't want me to, why bother? What do you mean, why tell you? I told you because you're you. I tell you everything. Everything except what's going on with you and Ver. Jealousy churns, hot, angry in your belly. You feel your words steeping in venom as you step closer. Did you know #WildChild is back is trending? Or that you'll probably never be invited to another award ceremony in your lifetime? Do you even care? Or is protecting Ver more important than your career? I couldn't care less about protecting Ver, but this isn't about her anyway. It's all about you trying to show up Gene. Since his stunt in Denver, you've taken a real if you can't join him, beat him approach that I'm starting to think has nothing to do with me and everything to do with you trying to prove yourself. Yeah, well, it beats being in love with my ex. I am not in love with Ver. He stalks closer, backing you against the counter as his fingers guide your chin up. Your fiery gaze meets his. What do I have to do to prove it to you? His eyes trail to your lips as your chest heaves against his. You relish the feeling of his body pressed flush against yours. Jack, are you trying to distract me? Because if it is, it's not gonna work. He grips your hips, pulls you closer, pressing his hard and length against your belly. It's not a distraction, Estrella. This is what you do to me. Besides, you aren't the only one with a grievance, you know. What do you have to say for yourself? That I'm not an intern angling to get Gene to notice me anymore? You've seen what I can do. I meant what I said earlier. I'm not using you. I meant what I said earlier too, but you don't seem to believe me. You mean having sex didn't fix all our issues? Shocker. A wry laugh escapes his Jack, and he tilts your head to the side, grazing his lips across your pulse point as he whispers, "Then we'll just have to do it as many times as we need to until it sinks in." You took the words right out of my mouth. He caresses your face in both of his hands and leans in for a kiss, but as a stray cough sounds from the bunks, you pause, paranoid. Hold on a second. Without waiting for a response, you grab Jack's hand and head for his bedroom, but by the time you shut the door, Jack's staring at you blankly. Wait. What was that? Well, we were in public. Anyone could have walked in. So you want me to spill the beans over Ver's album, but you're still pretending you don't like me on a bus full of people who have eyes. That's not the same thing, and you know it. One leak from any of them will have this would ruin our careers. What makes you think telling my secret wouldn't do the same? Before you can even have time to process his words, there's a loud bang followed by a screech as the bus fishtails across the highway. Whoa. Estrella. Catch my balance, fall, make sure Jack's okay. I'm gonna catch my balance. Jack. As the bus veers out of control, you make a grab for Jack to stabilize yourself, and he pulls you into the safety of his body. I've got you. The bus finally comes to a stop, and seconds later, Salas shoves the door open. Sorry, guys. One of the back tires blew out. You okay? For a moment, Jack doesn't move, his arms locked around you. He searches your gaze. It's only then he raises an eyebrow that you realize what he's waiting for. I'm fine. We're fine, thank you. Jack lets out a shaky breath before releasing you and turning to Salas with a nod. Right, well, it's gonna take a minute to fix, so if you want to stretch your legs, now's the time. Thanks, but we were in the middle of... Actually, I think I will step out. I need some air. You resist the urge to grab his arm, opting instead to follow him off the bus and into a nearby bar. Did I just lie to Salas? Are we not fine? Salas is a big boy. I'm sure he'll get the gist that Mom and Dad are fighting, even without you there to spell it out for him. You're being a jerk, but I'm actually glad. It's really driving home the fact that hooking up was not the best idea. I'm being a jerk. Jack whirls around to face you, and at once you can't make out the emotions brewing just under the surface. Anger, mostly, but also pain. I finally connected with the one girl, the only girl I've actually liked since my ex ripped my heart out and put it on vinyl, and all she wants to do is pretend it never happened. I'm not being a jerk, Estrella. This is how I act when I'm hurt. Without waiting for a response, he powers through the crowd and takes a seat at the bar, motioning for the bartender. Carefully, you follow, slipping onto the stool beside him. Okay, clearly I misjudged. I didn't know that you felt that way. BS. You knew how I felt about you, just like how I know how you feel about me, even if you won't say it. Your eyes find his lips as he takes a pull from his drink. We don't know when we ordered it, but why not? Slow and sensual, drawing you in just the way he intended. Subtly, you clear your throat. I can admit I was a little callous. I'm gonna make it up to you. Depends. Are you trying to distract me? Of course not. I should touch his inner thigh back. You slip a hand under his shirt, lightly tracing your way up his spine. I just want us to talk the way we were supposed to before jumping right into the sack, as fun as it was. He lets out a slow exhale, his posture slowly straightening as your fingers trapeze essentially across the expanse of his muscular back. I think we skipped a couple steps. Yeah, more like a dozen or two, but you know. He sucks in a breath at your touch before catching your hand and turning to face you. Unless you want me to take you right here on this bar and end up with another headline, I think we'd better leave this alone. I just want to know why, Jack. Why is letting Ver get away with this so important to you? Before he can answer, you hear a yell. The two of you look up to see Jack's drummer being flung from a mechanical bull. Another jailbird goes crash, boom, bang. Hey, for trying, though. Any other takers? Oh, God. Thank you very much. As he looks around the room, you get an idea. How about this? If you beat my time on the bull, I'll drop the whole thing and never bring it up again. And if I don't? We'll have an honest conversation. You tell me why you won't speak out against Ver, and I come clean about how I'm feeling. I'll take these odds, but the question is... He turns his back to the bar, stretching out on the stool and giving you a long look at his powerful thighs and hips. Do you really think you can ride longer than me? Bro, she's a woman. She's got you beat. I said what I said. Most women can especially when, you know, straddling or mounting can ride more than a guy, trust me. They were built for it. Anyway, you flag down the Elvis impersonator hosting the ride, and the next thing you know, you're on the bull while Jack watches from outside the pit. Yeehaw. You got this, boss. Yeah, Estrella, show us what you got. The challenge in his tone is evident, and you settle yourself into the machinery with one thought in mind. Alright, Estrella, you've just gotta stay focused. But even as you think it, Jack uses the hem of his shirt to wipe his brow, giving you a perfect view of the deep V leading into his jeans. And from the gleam in his eyes, there's no chance it's an accident. That cheater. And away we go. Elvis hits a button, and as the bull kicks into motion, you do your best to stay focused. Forward. It wasn't so bad a start. You chance to look over to Jack only to find him mentally stripping you, his gaze fixed on the bounce of your breasts. He licks his lips, and the next turn of the bull makes your grip slip, leaving you fighting to keep your eye on the prize. Come on, Estrella. Focus. Right. Looking damn good, Estrella. The huskiness of his voice breaks through the haze of your concentration, and you nearly fall, risking a look over at him. Your panties moist. You try to recenter yourself. Almost there, Estrella. Don't break now. Left. Yeehaw! But as you look out into the crowd, everyone else seems to fade away, leaving just you and Jack. His eyes flicker to the clock, and as the realization dawns that he might not be able to beat your time, he looks relieved. This isn't about me wanting to be in the know. I have to do this for Jack. He can't walk around with the world on his back, and I'm going to prove he can trust me to share the burden, whether he knows it or not. The bin spools. You hold on until you can't take it anymore. Finally, you release your grip, sailing into the cushy inflatable beneath you. And she sticks the landing. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner. And as you amble off the inflatable cushion, Jack waits for you at the center or entrance of the pit. Not bad. Not bad. I set the record for the night. Yeah, it's only because I haven't tried yet. Now, a real rider show you how it's done. He hops on the bull, but Elvis hits the button, and you rush forward, motion for Jack to lean in while you whisper. I forget to mention, I saw that little show you put on, but I'm not about a little cheating if it means getting what I want either. I'd have been offended if you were. You back away as the bull sputters into motion. You plot on how to make your move. Bend over, flaunting your ass. Full on flashing him. Flashing. A very sturdy Jack rides with one hand in the air. I'm surprised you're lasting this long. Oh, please, this little guy wouldn't let me down. We're buddies, we go way back. It's not the bull I'm talking about. With your back to everyone except Jack, lift up your shirt and flash him your boobs. Holy. The bull jerks and Jack begins to lose his balance. You smirk and pull your shirt back down. You bring the palms of your hands to your cheeks and feign surprise. Oh no, Jack, are you starting to lose your balance? He readjusts and locks his thighs together. You're gonna have to do a lot better than that to ruffle my feathers. That was a close one, folks. The jailbird's gotta stay. Power. That just means I have to up the ante. He smirks, knowing victory is within reach. All you have to do is hold on a couple more seconds, Jack. Distract Jack by flirting with Elvis. You know what? You pull Jailhouse Rock Elvis right into Jack's eyeline and place a hand on his chest. You know, I've always had a thing for Elvis. Why, thank you, pretty lady. Thank you very much. As the impersonator leans in, you catch Jack turning this way and that to keep his eyes on you. Excuse me, Elvis, shouldn't you be manning the mechanical bull? I feel like this is a safety concern. As Jack fumes in your peripheral vision, you let your hand drop to Elvis's waist. So, what time do you get off? Jack extends his neck to get a better look and starts to fall off the bull. He's slipping! He tries to regain his position, but it's too late. Seconds shy of your time, he hits the inflatable pit face first. Oh, tough break.
It's a nail-biter, but this jailbird came in just short.
What? There's no way. Yes, Way. Fair is fair. It's time for you to honor our deal. As the next rider steps up to take their turn, Jack nods and shuffles you away before taking a deep breath. After the group broke up, Gene was all I had left. When he suggested going solo, I signed the contract without giving it a second thought. Everything was great at first. Gene kept me booked, busy. You know, with fame came women. One even snuck into my hotel room. He raises an obvious brow and your brain short-circuits. Wait, Veronica was just a fan when you met? I read somewhere that she was a model in France for years. She wasn't a model. Hell, she wasn't even Veronica. When I met her, she went by Rachel Veronica Fletcher, a bluegrass singer from Kentucky. That liar. I mean, a lie like that alone should be enough to bury her in L.A. Not anymore. Everyone who knows the real story has been paid off thanks to the spin machine at IR. No one has any reason to go looking. I never do anything anyway. Veronica may be the devil, but I haven't done anything for Rachel. Jack settles into the memory, his gaze far away and glossy. The night we met, we stayed up all night bonding over music. By the time the sun came up, I was on the phone with Jean about signing her. But bit by bit, I watched her change from Rachel, the girl next door, to Ver, the spoiled princess of pop. Dude, you had one night with a girl and you thought she was like the perfect one and did everything for her? Say you're down bad without saying you're down bad. Ver told me she broke up with you, that you started getting into too much trouble and she had to. She made it sound like you were a sacrifice for her career. I wanted her career just as badly as she did, or I thought I did. As it turns out, she wanted it more. I wrote an album inspired by her, and before the ink on the lyrics was dry, Jean told me it was the best. I took one for the team and gave her every single song. The pain makes his voice crack, and you rack your brain for a solution. We can fight that. If you own your masters, you have the right to decide who makes money on your words. Jack, I can get your jammy after all.
No, you can. Gene's been my manager since I was a kid. I didn't think to check the contract. I didn't think I needed to. I trusted him. And it bit me in the ass because it turns out I signed away my rights. IR owns everything I write under while under their label.
So, asking to present Album of the Year
was the only way I could stand on stage in front of the world and hold the award that's supposed to be mine. Then her damn speech just pushed me over the edge. How could she stand there knowing it was my work and toy with me like that?
I get it. After all, you're not the only one who acted out.
You mean you know? He shoots you a look, deadpan, and you swat him.
I'm serious. It hurt to watch you on stage with her and see her get a rise out of you again. If she's so fake, it makes me want to scream. Yeah, but I thought it was us against them, and then all of a sudden it was just you doing your own thing. I can't say I blame you. I want to rip her apart after knowing her for a couple months, but I have no idea how I'd act if
she'd stolen the greatest song you've ever written and overproduced the hell out of it and them and outsold you, adding insult to injury. Probably a lot better than me.
No, your greatest work is still ahead of you. People will see you for the genius you are, Jack. I'm gonna make sure of it.
Anybody ever tell you how sexy you look when you're plotting?
You feel Jack moving closer, and as your chest starts to tighten, you heave a sigh. I know you don't like feeling hidden, but being a manager has been a dream of mine for years. Maybe I've taken my job a little seriously, but I don't want either of us to lose careers we love, and I have a way where we won't have to. But we'll have to be patient, smart, and above all, discreet. You pull Jack deeper into the crowd of people that have gathered, their attention all trained on the ride and not on the patrons around them.
I'll follow any plan that lets me do this.
He drops his hands to your waist and pushes you against the padded barrier. eye searing into yours as chaos reigns around you.
But I am wondering about the details.
He presses the full length of his body against you as he blows his head to kiss his way up your neck, and you struggle to keep focus. I'm going to make you so big, IR can't say no to you. Big enough that nobody can ever take advantage of you ever again. Big enough to be a scandal-proof.
Big enough to take my manager out on a real day with no consequences and no rules.
He pulls back just enough to meet your gaze, his eyes heavy-lidded and lustful, as his breath ghosts across your lips, your chest heaves with anticipation. But that's going to mean new music, and doing what I say when I say. Think you can handle it?
I've never been the good boy type, but something tells me I would love to hear you say it.
But just as he leans in for a kiss, your phone rings, and you've never hated your job more. Reluctantly, you separate from him and answer. This had better be...
I hope you weren't about to say good, because from where I'm sitting, I can't see anything that fits that description.
Mr. Deacon, hi. So great to hear from you, sir. I always say I never get enough you time.
Then you're in luck. I'm flying in on the red-eye tonight, and I want to see you and Jack at the satellite office in Memphis, first thing tomorrow morning.
The next morning, you and Jack arrive at the satellite office and are led straight into the boardroom. Inside, Mr. Deacon,
Gene,
and the legal team wait stoically. Good morning. The tabloids are busy, but for everyone who wasn't there, I'd like to start by painting a more accurate picture of... before you can finish, Gene turns on the TV in the room. Good morning and welcome to Chatty Cathy Live. Let's trim the fat and get right to the chatterbugs. Our resident bad boy certainly screwed the pooch at last night's jammies, huh? That speech, oh, and that poor girl's face. Gene clicks the remote and a new face appears, but it's the same old story.
Welcome to the news in the morning. I'm your host, Tommy Lucier, and last night at the jammies was one to remember. Pop star Jack Kennedy verbally assaulted ex-girlfriend and fellow star Veronica Blanchett.
The channel changes again and again, and each time a new face gleefully recaps the embarrassing moment in all of its glory until Mr. Deacon motions for Gene to stop. I see you've gotten quite the picture already.
Maybe you should just jump ahead, Estrella.
That would probably be for the best. In that case, I'd like to start by saying... I have an explanation for everything. If you can just give Jack and I a few minutes, you'll understand what happened, happened.
Don't insult us, Estrella. I think you've done enough damage as it is.
Gene whips out his phone.
Veronica Blanchett has yet to speak out about the incident, but it hasn't stopped her fans from calling for Jack Kennedy boycott. This is leading every major news network and social media. People are saying Jack's career's over, and I'm inclined to agree.
We all know how fickle public opinion is. You're viral one moment, forgotten the next. That's a fact.
It's also a fact that you failed to keep Jack from embarrassing the label. We warned you, Estrella. Paperwork is being drawn up as we speak to terminate your employment as well as Jack's contract.
Big deal. I'll just take my talent to a different label and bring Estrella with me.
Good luck finding a label to take you now. And even if you did, Estrella signed a non-compete agreement. She's not going anywhere. Except maybe back to the coffee machine, this time as a barista.
Gene's grin ignites a whole white-hot rage within you. You're not about to tolerate this, especially after the promise you made to Jack. Was last night bad? Yes, but that was the result of weeks of frustration brought on by your poor leadership.
What is she talking about, Gene? Nothing, sir. When in doubt, blame someone else. It's the oldest trick in the book.
Still, Mr. Deacon doesn't look convinced. Sensing an opening, you rush to spit out the facts. Most of the events that went wrong were the ones Gene added to the itinerary without consulting me. The stops I've arranged have yielded excellent press for Jack and the label. We were even able to get a time for a longtime fan of the show Gene cancelled for a low ticket sales. Also, the non-compete clause I signed is voided by inappropriate workplace conduct, and Gene's got that in spades.
Excuse me? You've been trying to sabotage this tour at every turn, and you know it, you grimy bastard.
I believe it's called a hostile work environment. At that, the lawyers in the room perk up and one leans forward to whisper into Mr. Deacon's ear.
Sabotage, Mr. Deacon, that's ridiculous.
Gene let them speak.
The cool tone of his voice brooks no argument, and with all eyes on you, you take a deep breath.
Mr. Deacon, you should know that Gene purposely left us stranded in Las Vegas. He forced the team to leave Las Vegas without us. Hitchhiking was our only alternative.
We even got mugged on the way. Had nothing to do with me.
We still made it to Denver on time, but it is a clear violation on the morality clause in my agreement.
Don't blame me for not being able to do your job.
Estrella has her cause here. It's in your best interest to keep your mouth shut.
Mr. Deacon releases a deep, frustrated sigh before turning his gaze on Jack.
Gene's methods were wrong, but he's not exaggerating how bad your speech at the Jammies was. This is a full-scale crisis, and frankly, I'm concerned for you, Jack. I can't help but wonder if severing your contract would be a kindness rather than a punishment. You'd be free to live the life you could have had without the cameras and the pressures of fame.
For a moment, the words hang in the air, and then... Where was your concern when I was a kid? When I was doing homework after a 16-hour day in the dance studio? Why didn't you care about the pressures of fame when it would have benefited me?
As the vein in Jack's neck bulges, you step forward, ready to translate and de-escalate. I think what Jack means to say is...
This one's a tough one.
Music is his life now. We'll never know who Jack would have been without IR. He made his sacrifices already. There's no looking back now. Getting rid of him isn't a kindness, it's not humane, it's nothing more than a way to solve a problem, and if you forgive me, sir, I think that's bullshit.
Jack's eyes whip to you, and as your heart races, his pinky curls around yours, a lifeline in a choppy sea. Mr. Deacon ponders, then nods.
I appreciate your candor, Miss Valanuva, and given the circumstances, I'm prepared to table your dismissals. More than that, to ensure there's no more meddling, you'll report directly to me. Mr. Deacon, thank you. You won't regret this. Don't thank me just yet. You have until summer, when Jack's contract ends. If you're unable to rebuild his reputation and prove he can handle life in the spotlight, I'll have no choice but to let you both go.
Stands to exit, taking Gene and the rest of the entourage with him. As the door slams behind them, you breathe a sigh of relief.
I can't believe he gave us a second chance. I thought we were done for.
After everything IR's taken from me, a second chance is the least Quincy can do.
Jack storms out into an empty hallway, and you rush after him, catching him by the arm. Hey, breathe. We live to sing another day, and more than that, we make one hell of a team. You chance a quick look around before pulling him into a passionate kiss, and as he relaxes in you, he returns your efforts groaning into your mouth.
You're right. Let's go somewhere I want to celebrate.
You're thinking lunch, drinks?
The only thing I want to devour right now is you.
Jack.
I'm serious, that was a major victory, and for our reward, I want you soaked and spread across a desk for me, and I want it. He takes you by the waist and turns you to face a door with a temporary nameplate bearing a familiar name. In there.
Jack, that's Gene's office. We can't go in there. We definitely can't do the reverse.
I told you when we first met, I do a lot of things I'm not supposed to. Gene's too busy getting reamed to catch us. What do you say? He had it coming. Hook up on Gene's desk.
No. Because all it is bound chicka wow wow. I can only handle almost being fired once a day.
You gotta get those numbers up. On a good day, I can hit 6.
Okay, come on, troublemaker. We've got a tour to finish and an image to rebuild.
But as you head for the exit, Jack takes your hand and pulls you to a stop, meeting your gaze with a more serious look than you've ever seen from him. Under one condition, for 12 years, Gene's been one to decide every direction of my career. While I admit I need your guidance, the only person who should have the final say over my career and the type of music I make is me.
I think I can handle that. I'll let you steer the ship as long as you respect my expertise.
What expertise? You were an intern.
He curls his fingers around yours in a handshake, but the intensity of his gaze warms you instantly.
Then it's a deal.
And suddenly it seems ridiculous that you ever consider this relationship one of business, but when it could have only ever been one of pleasure. What? Anyway, thank you all for watching. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. And down in the description, plenty of things to check out there, ways to support, and whatnot. There's also the join and thanks features on the channel. Long story short, yeah, no, sorry about being late. Feel free to tune into, hold on, I believe it was chapter 13 of this, The Deadliest Game, to hear why. Basically, I've just had a lot going on, and I went in a little bit more detail at the end of that video, so feel free to consider checking it out if you haven't. I'll be doing, like I said, trying to catch up, so Wednesday, Friday, and then this past Friday. So 2 Fridays of work I've got to catch up, and a Wednesday. So I'm working on that, right? Working on that. And then yes, for you RC fans, or may not be watching as well right now, yes, trying to catch up on that as well. Aside from that, thanks for watching. Yeah, peace out.